Somewhere between the hush of the Atlantic and the somber breath of the Mediterranean, there's a land shaped by music and silence, fire and faith. Spain is not a place, but a rhythm, a slow clap rising into thunder, a sigh of wind through olive branches, the scent of oranges, of smoke, of sea. It is the light off a bull's shoulder, the shadow in a Moorish arch, the shimmer of flamenco skirts on a warm midnight floor. Here, history doesn't rest quietly behind glass. It echoes, it dances. A Roman aqueduct still carries its ancient pride. A cathedral folds 1,000 years into its stony breath. Streets whisper in Castilian, in Basque, in Catalan, in Galician. In Spain, time is not a line. It is a spiral, forever folding into itself, and yet always reaching toward the sun. This is not a place you visit. This is a place that claims you. Welcome to Spain. In Seville, you'll feel it first, the weight of tradition with the lightness of song. Orange trees bloom in the squares like an offering. A guitar hums from a shaded doorway. The scent of Jamon Iberico curls in the air. And if you listen closely, you might hear a distant heel strike. Flamenco, sharp as thunder, born from Roma sorrow and Andalusian fire, moved north and east, and Barcelona stretches itself like a dream beside the sea. Gaudy spiraling visions rise like prayers that forgot they were buildings. The Sagrada Familia, still unfinished after a century, reminds you that beauty isn't in completion, it's in becoming. The city pulses with youth and revolution, yet somewhere in the Gothic quarter, a candle flickers beside a stone where saints once knelt. Then to the Balearics, Mallorca, Ibiza, and the quiet stone soul of Valldemossa. Chopin once fled here with George Sand, seeking warmth and stillness in a Carthusian monastery. Rain fell as he composed preludes. Music caught between hope and melancholy, much like the island itself. Even now, a certain stillness clings to its hills, broken only by sheep bells and distant surf. In Toledo, swords still gleam in the hands of artisans whose craft is passed down like sacred fire. In Córdoba, the mezquita holds a breath of many faiths, Islam, Christianity, and something older still, lingering in the columns like memory. Wander Santiago de Compostela in the early morning mist, and you may see pilgrims limping through blisters and tears to reach the cathedral. Not for miracles, for meaning, for motion, for something to carry home in the soul. There is guidance in Spain, though softly given. Eat slowly and always with others. Don't expect dinner before 9, but do expect laughter, long toasts, and more courses than you counted on. Respect silence in churches, joy in festivals, and the fierce pride of each region for its language, cuisine, and pace. Say hola with open eyes. Say gracias with an open heart. When in doubt, observe. When lost, follow the scent of coffee or the sound of children playing. They often lead back to the center of things. Come in spring, when the almond blossoms fall like snow, or in autumn, when the grape harvest sweetens the countryside, and the days soften into golden quiet. Even in summer's blaze, find shade under Moorish arcades or cool cathedral stones. Spain will give you its heat, but it will also teach you where to rest. And when you finally leave, Spain will not be done with you. It will follow quietly, in your gestures, in your rhythms, in your sudden longing for slow mornings and endless skies. You are the traveler now. In Seville, the air is thick with orange blossom and memory. The streets shimmer with dust and devotion, winding like the coils of forgotten melody. Sunlight slants through lattice balconies, casting Moorish lace onto cobblestone. Each courtyard feels like a secret, shaded, silent, scented with jasmine and thyme. This city moves slowly, like a dancer waiting for the music to begin. And when it does, when flamenco erupts from the tableau, it is not just a performance. It is a grief and a fire, a cry from deep within the earth. The heel strikes, the hands clap, and a single voice carries centuries of exile and ecstasy. You do not watch flamenco in Seville. You surrender to it. In the heart of the city stands a Giralda, a bell tower born from a mosque's minaret, still whispering the call to prayer beneath the bells. The Cathedral of Seville spreads beside it like a ship of stone, grand enough to house empires, humble enough to hold a tomb. And in that tomb, they say, lies Christopher Columbus, or perhaps not all of him. A bone, a doubt, a relic from an age of conquest and contradiction. Wander the real Alcazar, and you'll feel the echo of Al-Andalus in every arch. The gardens hum with the soft pulse of fountains, palms, and peacocks. Here, time is an illusion, and the present is always touched by the past. In summer, the heat presses down like history. Locals retreat indoors behind wooden shutters. The siesta sacred and still. Come late afternoon, the streets bloom again. Laughter rises, terraces fill, and the city exhales into the cool. If you come in April, join the feria. Women in polka-dotted dresses twirl through the night. Horses clop past striped tents. Sherry flows. This is no show for tourists. It is the city showing itself to itself. Dance only if you mean it. Smile often. Stay until dawn. A gentle note to travelers. In Seville, time obeys no schedule but its own. Buses may be late. Conversations may last forever. Meals stretch into moonlight. Accept it. That is a rhythm here, not delay, but depth. And as you cross the Guadalquivir at dusk, the river reflects more than light. It reflects the soul of Seville, golden, ancient, restless, and alive. Barcelona doesn't reveal itself all at once. It teases a curve of rooftop here, a shadowed alley there, the scent of bread baking just around the corner. This is a city stitched from contradictions, Roman stone and digital screens, sacred basilicas and beach bars, rebellion and reverence held in the same breath. At its heart is Gaudi, or rather, a dream Gaudi left behind. His buildings rise like coral reefs from dry land, organic, defiant, impossible. Casa Batlló, with windows like open mouths. Park Güell, where lizards bask in mosaic sunlight. And then the Sagrada Familia, still climbing skyward, still unfinished, as if waiting for permission from the heavens. You can stand beneath those spires and feel not small, but necessary, as if the act of wonder completes the architecture. But Barcelona isn't just a monument. It's a pulse in the Gothic quarter after dark, where stone lanes twist like old stories. It's the clang of cutlery at a seafood stall in La Boqueria, where octopus curls on iron pans and locals shout over baskets of figs. It's children kicking a football in the same square where martyrs once fell. And behind it all, the sea. Always the sea. The Mediterranean doesn't crash here. It whispers. It shimmers in morning light, drawing walkers to the sands of Barceloneta and lovers to the promenade. Even in winter, there's a softness to the water, a mirror for the city's shifting soul. Travelers, take note. Catalonia speaks its own language, not just in words but in identity. Respect the nuance. Listen before speaking. And if someone corrects you kindly, thank them. You're being welcomed, not warned. Try the vermouth at noon. Let lunch last longer than you meant. In Barcelona, time stretches between courses like light through stained glass. And when the sun drops behind Tibidabo and the streets flush amber and violet, listen, Barcelona doesn't shout. It murmurs. And if you're quiet, if you walk without needing to arrive, you might hear what it's been trying to say all along. The first thing you notice about Mallorca is the light. It pours across the island like honey, golden on the limestone cliffs, silver on the sea, amber through the olive groves. The sky here is always doing something poetic, streaking with clouds, deepening into cobalt, softening into lavender dusk. It is a light that wants to be remembered. Wander inland and the mountains rise. The Serra de Tramontana, craggy, ancient, folded like a sleeping dragon, keeps its secrets well. Villages cling to hillsides in ochre and stone. Time slows to the clink of cafe cups, the echo of church bells, the flutter of lace curtains in a noon breeze. But Mallorca is not just pastoral peace. Down at the ports, yachts drift like sleeping beasts and fishermen mend nets with hands weathered by salt and sun. In Palma, the cathedral, La Eu, reflects on the harbor, its Gothic spires catching morning light like fingers raised in praise. Gaudi left his quiet touch here too, in the iron curls of candle holders, in windows that breathe colored light. In 1838, a frail Frédéric Chopin arrived in Mallorca, searching for warmth and escape with his lover, the writer George Sand. They stayed in a monastery in Valldemossa through a bitter winter, a season of rain, illness, and tension. Yet from that suffering bloomed some of his most haunting preludes. You can almost hear them still in the quiet cloisters in the damp stone. Even the pain here can become music. For travelers, Mallorca offers many faces and asks that you approach each with care. The north whispers with wind and solitude. The south hums with sun and sand. Avoid the rush. Rise early. Walk inland trails where the almond trees bloom like snow. Try the paella bialy, bread with oil and tomato, simple and sacred. Let yourself be moved by the silence of the countryside, the smell of rosemary crushed underfoot. Mallorca isn't just a place to visit. It's a place that invites you to become still enough to listen to the waves, the wind, the past. And if you let it, it will echo in you long after you've left. Valldemossa feels like a memory you didn't know you had. Tucked in the folds of the Tramontana Mountains, it rises gently from a mist. Stone houses with green shutters, terracotta tiles warmed by the sun, narrow lanes where bougainvillea spills in bursts of violet and flame. The air here is cool even in summer, tinged with rosemary and wood smoke. Everything moves slowly. The shadows, the footsteps, the quiet breath of the valley itself. You do not rush in Valldemossa. You drift. It was here, in a former Carthusian monastery, that Frédéric Chopin composed through a wet, melancholy winter. George Sand wrote of rain that soaked the soul of a fragile genius at the piano, of silence broken only by music. Even now, the echo lingers. The cloisters hold something more than history. A hush that invites listening. Time folds differently here. You feel in the way shopkeepers greet you without urgency, in the clink of coffee cups on cool mornings, in the mountain light that turns every stone wall into a canvas of shadows and gold. Travelers often pass through quickly, but if you stay a while, even a single afternoon, the village begins to open. Walk to the mirador and let your eyes stretch across the valley. Buy warm coca de patata, dusted with sugar, and eat it slowly in the square. Speak softly, smile often, and let the silence wrap around you like an old wool shawl. Valldemossa doesn't try to impress. It simply is, and that is its quiet power. Ibiza is not what you think it is. Yes, there are lights. There is rhythm. Nights that blur into dawn and bass lines that pulse through bone. But beyond the noise, beyond the beach clubs and glitter, there's an island older than the party, quieter than the beat. Step inland and Ibiza changes. The land undulates in soft hills and pine forests. Stone fincas sleep beneath fig trees. Dry stone walls divide almond groves where silence hums like a second breeze. The sun here is warm but not rushed, brushing everything in gold and dust. Dalt Villa, the walled citadel above Ibiza town, watches the sea with patient eyes. Its cobbled lanes climb in spirals, past shuttered windows and hidden courtyards. Phoenicians, Romans, Moors, all have walked these stones. The island remembers them. The sea remembers them. And there is something else Ibiza remembers, something spiritual. In the 1960s, seekers came here. Artists, mystics, wanderers. They followed light and intuition. Some never left. Their influence lingers in whitewashed villages, in barefoot yoga studios, in the driftwood altars at the coastline. Travelers who come only to escape miss the heart of the island. Go north, where the cliffs fall steep and the sea is sapphire and endless. Find Cala den Serra, a hidden cove where fishermen's huts crouch like fossils and the waves speak softly. Watch the sun set from Es Vidra, the mythic rock that rises like a sorcerer from the sea, its silhouette trembling with legend. If you listen closely, the island will guide you. Rise early. Walk barefoot. Eat slowly. Speak kindly. Let the salt and the thyme and the sun reshape you. Ibiza isn't loud. Not really. Its soul is a whisper, and it waits for you in the quiet. Toledo rises in the land like a memory carved in stone. Encircled by the Tagus River, the city clings to its rocky hill like a relic, its rooftops glowing ochre in the late sun. As you approach, it looks untouched, a skyline of towers and domes, spires and fortress walls. But walk its winding streets, and you'll discover 1,000 voices stitched into the silence. This was once a city of 3 cultures, where Muslims, Jews, and Christians lived, prayed, and studied side by side, not always in peace, but often enough to leave behind a mosaic of beauty. Arabic arches in Christian churches, Hebrew inscriptions hidden in tiled courtyards, a tolerance forged not from theory, but from necessity. The Toledo steel you hear of isn't just legend. The smiths here were masters of balance and blade, forging sword with water, fire, and hands that understood the weight of violence and ceremony. Even now, in quiet workshops, the art endures. Sparks fly, steel sings. Inside the cathedral, light moves like a living thing, slanting through stained glass onto columns thick with centuries. El Greco painted his saints here, stretched them tall with sorrow and fire, as if trying to pull heaven closer with a brush. To wander Toledo is to move through layers of time. Take it slowly. Let your feet follow the stone. Avoid midday heat by ducking into shadows. If someone invites you in for a coffee or to see a view from their rooftop, accept with grace. The best places here aren't marked on any map. At dusk, stand by the riverbank and look back at the city, lit now by lanterns in the soft hush of night. It doesn't glitter, it glows. In Córdoba, the air holds the weight of empires and the fragrance of orange blossoms. You arrive through quiet streets, whitewashed, sun-drenched, blooming with geraniums in blue pots. The city feels like a secret kept carefully, almost shy in the way it reveals itself. But then you step into the mezquita, and everything changes. A forest of red and white arches stretches out before you, hypnotic and endless. Pillars rise like palms in some sacred grove, echoing with centuries of whispered prayer. This was once the great Mosque of Al-Andalus, a jewel of Islamic architecture and intellect, where scholars studied under flickering lamps and poets composed verses that still float in silence. And then, at its heart, a cathedral, inserted centuries later, not with grace, but with insistence. It's jarring, the collision of faiths and times, and yet somehow it stands, not in peace, but in tension, a living monument to Spain's layered soul. Outside, the Jewish quarter curls like a question. Cobbled lanes lead past synagogues and silversmiths, fountains and fig trees. Maimonides once walked here, the philosopher, the exile, the healer, leaving footprints in thought, if not in dust. Córdoba teaches softly. You don't need to chase anything here. Mornings are slow, and afternoons are meant for shade. Sip salmorejo under a vine-covered pergola. Let the sounds drift. Guitar strings tuning, footsteps in sandals, the hush of fountains working endlessly beneath the sun. In May, the patios bloom. Locals open their homes to strangers, not with spectacle, but with pride, sharing the scent of jasmine, the cool of tile, the hush of still water in stone basins. It's not performance. It's inheritance. Córdoba is not loud. It listens, and if you walk gently, it will share something that cannot be found in words, only in presence. In Galicia, where the clouds hang low and the earth breathes damp and green, Santiago de Compostela waits like a whispered prayer at the end of the world. The streets glisten with rain or memory. It's hard to say which. Even in summer, the air feels touched by something older than weather. Pilgrims arrive with aching feet and tear-bright eyes, crossing the Praça do Aberdouro with the quiet disbelief of someone who has reached something they thought might only exist in stories. And, in a way, it is a story. For over 1,000 years, people have walked the Camino across mountains, plains, forests, and cities, following yellow arrows and intuition, seeking not salvation, but something softer, clarity, courage rest. They arrive in silence, or song, or with nothing left to say at all. The cathedral looms like a vision from another age, spires rising through mist, worn stone slick with devotion. Inside, the crypt is dim and tender. They say St. James rests here, bones bundled beneath centuries of incense and belief. The great Miro, a giant swinging censer, fills the vaults with smoke and awe, a ritual that feels like thunder made visible. But Santiago is not only pilgrimage. It is laughter in hidden cafes. It is music echoing from a Galician gaita, a local bagpipe that sounds like longing made sound. It is seafood pulled fresh from cold Atlantic tides. It is a taste of polpo a la gallega, octopus, paprika, and oil, served on wooden plates, eaten slowly under gray skies and golden lamps. Travelers should walk the old streets without hurry. Let the stones tell their stories. Notice how locals speak in Galician, musical, mournful, proud. Say gracinas instead of gracias, and see the smiles it brings. Respect the quiet here. It is not emptiness. It is depth. And if you came searching for something, even if you didn't know what, Santiago may not give you an answer, but it will give you stillness enough to hear your own. Segovia rises out of Castilian plain, like a dream built from stone and water. The moment you glimpse the great Roman aqueduct arching across the skyline, 120 massive granite pillars standing silent and proud, you sense the city's stubborn pulse. It is a place where history is not buried but worn boldly, like a well-loved coat. The aqueduct, still carrying water after nearly 2 millennia, is more than engineering. It is a whisper from Rome, a voice that speaks of ambition, endurance, and a relentless march of time. Each block is fitted without mortar, held together by nothing but weight and perfect balance, a lesson in trust and patience. Beyond the arches, Segovia's medieval heart beats strong. Narrow cobbled streets climb toward the Alcazar, a castle that rises like a fairy tale turreted fortress atop a rocky crag. Once the home of kings and queens, it now keeps watch over the city's stories. Tales of battles and banquets, secrets and sieges. Inside the Alcazar stone walls, you can feel the echoes of Isabella, the queen who united Spain, walking halls where power and destiny were forged. Below, the city hums with artisans crafting leather goods, pottery, and the famed Segovian cochinillo, suckling pig roasted to perfection, its skin crackling under a knife. Tender meat melting with every bite. Walk slowly here. Let the river Eresma murmur alongside you as you cross the Puente de San Martin, its medieval arches framing views of terracotta roofs and distant hills. Segovia's churches hold light like liquid gold, stained glass catching sunbeams and throwing rainbows on an ancient stone. Visitors should respect the city's measured pace. Don't rush the cafe culture, where mornings stretch long over espresso and tapas. Listen for the soft chatter of locals recounting family tales or football matches. Season matters. Autumn cloaks Segovia in soft fog and burnt orange hues. Spring fills the gardens with blossoms and birdsong. And when evening falls and lanterns flicker to life along the aqueduct, the city holds its breath, proud, ancient, alive. Segovia teaches us that to endure is to be beautiful. Ronda perches on precipice, a city cleaved in two by a vast gorge that cuts through the earth like a wound. The Puente Nuevo, a bridge of stone soaring nearly 100 meters above the river below, connects these halves with quiet majesty. It is a place where vertigo meets serenity, where past and present hang suspended. Walking Ronda's narrow streets, you feel the pulse of Andalusian life. Whitewashed houses lean toward the sun, balconies draped in vibrant flowers. The scent of rosemary and thyme lingers in the dry mountain air. Horses clip-clop across cobblestones, reminding you of old Andalusian traditions still alive in the rhythm of the city. Ronda's history is both fierce and fragile. It was a stronghold for the Moors, a battleground of Christians and Muslims. The old town retains echoes of medieval life. Ancient walls, a Roman bathhouse hidden beneath the soil, and one of Spain's oldest bull rings. The Plaza de Toros is not just an arena. It is a temple of passion and controversy, where echoes of past struggles still resonate. Travelers should take care crossing the gorge, where the wind sometimes whispers warnings. Watch your step, but do not rush. Every corner reveals a new vista. Terracotta rooftops framed by the endless blue of the sky, cliffs plunging into green riverbeds, olive groves stretched beneath the sun. Try local wine, rich and dark like the earth beneath your feet. Sit quietly in a cafe and listen to the soft strum of a guitar from a nearby plaza. Learn the stories, not just a grand history, but the small ones, a fisherman's daughter, an artist's inspiration, a festival that lasts until dawn. Ronda is a city of contrasts, delicate and daring, ancient and alive. Here, on the edge of the world, you can feel the heart of Spain beat strong. Madrid pulses like a living canvas. Bold strokes of history, culture, and life painted in vivid color. The city stretches wide, a blend of stately boulevards and hidden plazas, modern cafes and ancient churches. The air hums with energy, the chatter of markets, the clatter of cafe cups, the distant murmur of flamenco guitars spilling from open windows. The Prado Museum holds masterpieces that breathe centuries of passion. Velázquez's penetrating gazes, Goya's shadows of war and sorrow, Bosch's wild imagination tangled in surreal dreams. Here, art is not behind glass. It is a conversation with time. Walk through El Retiro Park and you'll find calm among swaying chestnuts, fountains sparkling in the sunlight, and rowboats gliding over the lake's glassy surface. Locals gather beneath trees to share tapas, stories, and the slow warmth of Madrid afternoon. At night, the city transforms. Neon lights flicker to life, and the streets become stages for laughter, dance, and shared joy. The tapas bars fill with voices lifted in song and celebration, where strangers become friends over plates of jamon, olives, and manchego cheese. Madrid wears its contradictions openly. Proud yet humble, fast yet patient, historic yet forever young. For travelers, the rhythm here demands both curiosity and patience. The siesta is sacred. Shops close mid-afternoon, and the city rests before the night awakens. Learn a few words of Spanish. Por favor, gracias, salute, and watch how doors open wider. Try churros con chocolate for breakfast, rich and comforting, or a late-night cocido madrileno, a stew that tastes of hearth and home. Madrid is a city of moments, a sudden smile on a street corner, the echo of footsteps on cobblestones, a sunset spilling gold over terracotta rooftops. Here, in the heart of Spain, every breath feels like an invitation to live, to love, to become. Tenerife rises from the Atlantic like an island shaped by fire and sky. Its rugged volcanic peaks pierce the clouds, crowned by Mount Tide, Spain's tallest summit, and a silent guardian of ancient stories. The black lava fields stretch like frozen waves, scars of a restless earth, whispering of creation and destruction entwined. The island is a mosaic of contrasts. Lush forests cling to steep cliffs, where laurel trees murmur in the wind. Coastal villages hug the shore, their whitewashed walls bright against turquoise seas. The scent of salt mixes with pine resin, and the sweet perfume of blooming orchids. In the small town of La Orotava, cobblestone streets lead to hidden courtyards bursting with hibiscus and bougainvillea. Here, artisans carve intricate wood and lace, preserving crafts passed down through generations. Tenerife's people live close to the land and sea, honoring festivals that blend indigenous Guan traditions with Catholic faith. At Carnival, the island bursts into color and music, a celebration of life's persistence against time and change. Travelers are invited to walk gently, to respect the island's delicate balance. Swim in quiet coves, hike volcanic trails with care, savor local wines born from volcanic soil. Learn a few words in Canarian Spanish, soft and melodic, shaped by the ocean's breath. In Tenerife, every moment feels charged with elemental power. The slow pulse of ancient earth beneath your feet, the endless dance of wind and wave. This island is a poem written in stone and sky. Albarracín is a village frozen in time, perched high on a rocky spine in Aragon's mountains. Its terracotta rooftops spill down steep hillsides, tangled with narrow, winding streets that climb and curve like an ancient labyrinth. The ochre walls glow warmly beneath a sun that feels quieter here, softer, as if the village breathes with the slow rhythm of centuries. Behind those walls, history sleeps lightly. Albarracín was once a Moorish fortress, its name echoing with Arabic whispers. The castle keeps its watch above the town, silent but steadfast, while old gates creak open to reveal hidden plazas and fountains that still sing with the water of old springs. Every corner holds a story. The stone arches of cathedral, the frescoes fading into memory, the artisans crafting pottery and leather with hands steeped in tradition. The surrounding landscape is rugged. Pine forests and red sandstone cliffs rise abruptly, inviting quiet walks and moments of solitude. This is a place to lose the noise of the world, to find the softness in stillness. Travelers here should move gently, respect the quiet dignity of a town that refuses to rush. Speak softly, walk slowly, and savor the simple beauty of a village that wears its history like a well-loved shawl. Taste a local ternasco, tender lamb roasted with herbs, and drink wine from nearby vineyards that soak up the sun-drenched hills. Albarracín teaches that beauty is not always loud or grand. Sometimes it is found in the hush of a stone street, the touch of cool water, the warmth of a shared meal. Here, time feels like a story waiting patiently to be told. The Alhambra is not merely a palace. It is a poem carved in stone, water, and light. Perched high above Granada, it stands like a dream of paradise, born from the hands and hearts of Nazareth artisans who wove faith, art, and nature into every surface. Enter its gates, and you step into a world where geometry becomes prayer, where fountains sing with the voice of eternity, and where shadows dance on delicate latticework. Marble courtyards shimmer beneath arches inscribed with verses from the Quran, their intricate patterns folding the infinite into the finite. The scent of orange blossoms lingers in the air, mingling with the gentle murmur of flowing water that seems to echo from one courtyard to the next. the Court of the Lions, the Hall of the Abencerrages, each a room where light and silence converse. But beneath the beauty lies a story of loss and longing. The reconquista forced the Moors from this city, and with their departure, a culture was broken, a memory nearly lost. The Alhambra became a symbol of grace and exile, of power and fragility. It was Washington Irving who, in the 19th century, breathed new life into the palace's story. His tales, woven from legend and history, helped awaken the world's wonder, and the walls, once silent, began to speak again. Travelers approaching the Alhambra should come with reverence and patience. Tickets are limited. Come early and linger long. Walk barefoot in your mind through its gardens. Listen to the whispers of past poets, and watch how the afternoon sun turns tile and water to molten gold. This place teaches that beauty is not just seen. It is felt deep in the chest, in the quiet pause between heartbeats. Here, history is not a weight, but a breath. Perched high above the Guadalhorce Gorge, the Caminito del Rey is a path carved by courage and nature's raw power. Once known as the world's most dangerous walkway, it clings to steep cliffs like a whisper against a roaring river far below. For decades, it was forgotten, a fragile thread of wood and steel threatened by time and weather, daring only the bravest across. Today, restored and renewed, it invites travelers to walk between earth and sky, where every step is a quiet defiance of fear. The wind brushes your face, carrying the scent of pine and stone, while sunlight dances across the sheer walls, revealing ancient folds of rock painted in ochres and rust. Birds wheel overhead, eagles and vultures, guardians of this wild cathedral. The gorge hums with stories of workers who built the path to serve a hydroelectric dam, of hikers who once risked all for thrill, of nature reclaiming what it once owned. When you cross the Caminito, move slowly. Let your breath match the rhythm of the river's song below. Feel the precariousness not as danger, but as a moment of being utterly alive, balanced between earth and sky. This is not just a walk. It is a meditation, a promise that even the most fragile things can hold strength. The Sagrada Familia rises like a cathedral not only of stone, but of dreams, an unfinished symphony etched skyward in the heart of Barcelona. Antoni Gaudi's masterpiece is a kaleidoscope of faith in nature, where twisting columns become trees, facades bloom with carved leaves, and stained glass pours light in rivers of color. The church feels alive, growing, breathing, whispering stories in every curve. Construction began in 1882, and though Gaudí died nearly a century ago, the work continues, an homage to vision and devotion spanning generations. It is a place suspended in time, where artisans and worshippers meet, with a past and future embraced in stone. Step inside, and the soaring ceiling draws your gaze upward, as if inviting you to lose yourself among branches and light. The colors shift with the sun, deep blues of dawn, fiery golds of dusk, casting an otherworldly glow over faces and footsteps. The Sagrada Familia tells a tale beyond bricks and mortar. It speaks of sacrifice and hope, of a man who poured his life into a dream that would outlast him. Gaudí believed architecture could heal, could unite earth and heaven, could make the invisible visible. Visitors should move with reverence, allowing silence to settle between the bustling crowds. Listen for the hush beneath the murmurs, the echoes of prayers whispered through time. If you come in spring or autumn, the light dances differently, softer, more contemplative, as if the building itself breathes with the changing seasons. In this place of endless construction, unfinished beauty becomes a meditation on life's impermanence and possibility. The Sagrada Familia invites you to see not what is, but what could be. La Gomera feels like a secret whisper between sea and sky, a place where time slows and nature speaks in its purest voice. This small Canary island rises rugged and green, wrapped in misty laurel forests that seem to breathe with ancient life. The wind carries a language unique to the island, El Silbo Gomero, a whistled tongue that can travel miles to the deep ravines, a melody shaped by necessity and culture, taught to children as a living heritage. Here, volcanic cliffs plunge sharply into turquoise waters, where dolphins leap and the Atlantic sings its eternal song. Trails wind through moss-draped trees, past hidden waterfalls and terrace fields where farmers still coax crops from rocky soil. The island's history is woven with resilience. The Guanches, the original inhabitants, left traces in stone carvings and legends, stories of resistance and survival under the volcanic sun. In small villages, elders sit beneath palms, speaking softly of the past, while the scent of freshly baked almagrote, a spicy cheese spread, drifts from kitchens to doorways. Travelers who come here step into a world unspoiled by rush. Walk quietly on paths shaded by ancient trees. Listen for the whistle that speaks across valleys. Taste the island's flavors slowly. Sweet honey, tart goat cheese, fresh fish caught just that morning. La Gomera asks for respect, patience, and presence. It offers solitude and wonder in return. In the silence between the whistles, you may find something rare, a sense of belonging not just to a place, but to the earth's enduring breath. Valencia is a city of sun and sea, where old and new dance in vibrant harmony beneath expansive blue skies. Its streets pulse with Mediterranean warmth, the scent of oranges ripening and orchards mingling with salty sea breezes that drift from a nearby harbor. The city is a mosaic of contrasts. Sleek modern architecture rises beside Gothic cathedrals. Bustling plazas give way to quiet gardens. The sound of laughter spills from topless bars as easily as waves crash on sandy beaches. The city of arts and sciences stands like a gleaming jewel, its futuristic forms reflecting in still water pools, inviting visitors to imagine what the future might hold. Nearby, the old quarter beckons with labyrinthine streets, where markets overflow with fresh produce and the aromas of paella, Valencia's proudest culinary gift. swirl through the air. Paella, more than just a dish here, is a celebration of land and sea. Traditional recipes blend saffron, rice, rabbit, and fresh seafood into a vibrant symphony of flavors, best enjoyed slowly with good company. Valencia's history runs deep beneath its lively surface. The Silk Exchange, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, stands as a testament to a prosperous past when merchants from around the world met here, trading goods and ideas beneath intricately carved ceilings. Travelers should take time to wander the Turia Gardens, a vast green ribbon where the old river once ran, now transformed into a peaceful sanctuary for cyclists, joggers, and families. Rest beneath the shade of orange trees. Listen for the hum of distant street musicians, and watch children play beside fountains that catch sunlight like liquid glass. In spring, the city bursts into flames and fireworks during Las Fallas Festival, a fiery spectacle of art, tradition, and community. Masks, music, and the scent of burning would fill the air, a reminder of renewal through destruction. Valencia invites you to slow down and savor life's richness, in food, in light, in laughter, and in quiet moments shared beneath endless skies. Lanzarote is a land where fire once ruled, and its scars have become its soul. Volcanic peaks and blackened lava fields stretch endlessly beneath an ever-changing sky, a stark, surreal landscape that feels both ancient and otherworldly. This is a place of transformation, where destruction gave way to beauty, and where nature's raw power remains visible in every cracked rock and jagged ridge. The island's volcanic heart is held in check by the visionary artist Cesar Manrique, whose legacy is woven into Lanzarote's very fabric. Manrique taught the island to honor its natural forms, blending architecture with earth, turning caves into galleries and lava tubes into sanctuaries. His influence ensures Lanzarote feels less like a destination and more like a living work of art. In Tamanfaya National Park, the ground still simmers beneath your feet. Steam rises from vents, and the heat from deep below reminds you of the Earth's restless spirit. Walking here is a pilgrimage to creation, a chance to witness the fiery force that shaped not only Lanzarote, but the imagination. Beyond the moonscape, charming villages offer a softer contrast. Whitewashed houses with green shutters line streets, where fishermen's nets dry and local markets hum with fresh produce and handcrafted goods. Travelers should come prepared to respect Lanzarote's fragile ecosystems. Stay on marked paths, support local craftspeople, and embrace the island's slow rhythms. Taste the mojo sauce, spicy, bright, alive. Pour over fresh seafood and roasted potatoes, a flavor born from the island's sun and soil. Lanzarote invites you to see beauty and resilience, to find harmony where fire and life entwine, and to remember that even the harshest landscapes can hold quiet grace. Fuerteventura stretches wide and wild, a raw canvas of desert sands, turquoise waves, and endless sky. The island's fierce winds sculpt its dunes and beaches, where golden sands roll softly into the Atlantic's cool embrace. It is a place shaped by elements, sun, wind, and sea, where every breath tastes of salt and freedom. Here, life moves with the rhythm of tides and tides only. Small fishing villages, the coastline, their whitewashed houses glowing bright against rugged volcanic landscapes. Camels, remnants of ancient trade routes, tread slowly across arid plains, relics of forgotten past. The island's volcanic heart beats quietly beneath this stark beauty. Lava fields spread like dark scars, contrasting sharply with patches of green, where hardy plants cling to survival. Fuerteventura is also a haven for those who chase wind and wave. Surfers, kiteboarders, and sailors drawn to its world-class beaches. But away from the popular shores, you can find solitude in quiet coves and hidden valleys where time seems to pause. The island's culture is humble and sincere. Traditional Canarian music, with its plaintive melodies and drums, echoes in village festivals. Taste gofio, the ancient toasted grain that has nourished generations, and savor fresh cheese made from native goats that roam freely in the hills. Travelers should respect the fragile ecosystem here. Avoid disturbing nesting sea turtles. Tread lightly on dunes, and support local artisans who keep traditions alive. Fuerteventura teaches that beauty can be wild and untamed, and that sometimes freedom lives in simplicity. In the island's vast horizons and open skies, you may find a rare kind of peace, one that invites you to breathe deeply, to let go, and to simply be. Santander rests gently on the northern coast, where Cantabrian waves kiss sandy beaches under skies often brushed with soft, misty hues. The city's elegance unfolds slowly, a graceful blend of Belle Epoque architecture, bustling promenades, and quiet bays cradled by green hills. It is a place where sea and city live in quiet conversation, the salt air mingling with the scent of blooming gardens and fresh pastries. The Magdalena Peninsula, crowned by a regal palace, offers views that stretch to the horizon, endless blue where sky and water blend seamlessly. Walk its paths and listen for the calls of gulls and the soft murmur of waves, an invitation to slow down. Santander carries scars as well as beauty. In 1941, a devastating fire swept through the city, reshaping its heart and testing its spirit. From the ashes, resilience bloomed, and the city rebuilt itself with a delicate balance of old charm and new hope. The local fishermen's market still pulsed with life, where a day's catch, anchovies, hake, or shellfish is brought ashore and celebrated in simple, honest dishes. Try rabas, fried squid rings served hot and crisp, a beloved Cantabrian treat. Travelers should take time to wander the hidden corners. Quiet cafes tucked away from the waterfront, narrow alleys where laughter spills softly, and the serene gardens of Piquio Park, where locals gather to watch the sunset. Santander is not a city of spectacle, but of gentle moments. The soft patter of rain on cobblestones, the warm smile of a shopkeeper, the timeless rhythm of tide and time. Here, by the sea's edge, you feel the quiet strength of a place that has weathered storms and still holds its breath in beauty. Salamanca glows like a golden dream beneath the Castilian sun, its honey-colored sandstone buildings bathed in warm light that seems to hold centuries of whispered secrets. The city's university, one of the oldest in Europe, breathes life into narrow streets where students have debated philosophy, poetry, and revolution since the 13th century. Here, learning is a rite, a passion passed down like a sacred flame, its echoes felt in every stone and arch. Plaza Mayor stands as Salamanca's beating heart, an expansive square framed by Baroque arcades where locals gather at cafes, sipping café con leche beneath wrought iron balconies. The square hums softly with chatter, the clink of glasses, and the faint strains of a guitar drifting through the warm air. Wandering the labyrinth of alleys reveals hidden treasures. Ornate cathedrals with soaring towers, cloisters quiet with prayer, and facades adorned with sculpted figures, including a famous frog, a tiny secret carved into the university's facade, said to bring luck to those who find it. Salamanca's soul is a blend of the sacred and the playful, the ancient and the youthful. In its narrow streets, tradition dances with modern life. In its plazas, history embraces the present. Travelers should take time to absorb the city's rhythm, pause in quiet courtyards, listen for the cadence of spoken Spanish peppered with local accent, and savor the flavors of hornezo, a savory meat pie enjoyed especially during spring festivities. As dusk falls, the city transforms. Soft lights bathe sandstone in amber hues, and shadows deepen, inviting quiet reflection. Walking along the Roman bridge, you can feel the weight of time, a bridge not just over water, but across eras. Salamanca teaches that knowledge and beauty are intertwined, that a pursuit of wisdom is also a journey into heart of place. Here, every corner holds a story waiting to be discovered. Costa Brava unfurls like a rugged ribbon along Catalonia's northeastern edge, a wild and beautiful coastline where the Mediterranean breathes salty and free. Cliffs plunge sharply into crystalline waters, their edges softened by wind and time. Hidden coves, fringed with pine and cypress, cradle secret beaches where the sea laps gently against smooth stones and golden sand. The light here shifts constantly, dazzling and harsh by day, soft and shimmering by dusk, painting a canvas of endless blues and greens. This coastline has long been a refuge for artists and dreamers. Salvador Dali found inspiration in the strange rock formations and mysterious coves, weaving the landscape into surreal visions of time and memory. Walking the winding paths, you can almost hear the echoes of his brush strokes carried by the sea breeze. Villages to shore like pearls, Cadax with its whitewashed walls and narrow streets, Lower de Mar where the pulse of modern life meets ancient stone, and Calella de Palafrugel, quiet and timeless. The region's history is layered and rich. Roman ruins peek beneath olive groves, medieval watchtowers keep silent vigil, and fishermen's tales mingle with legends of pirates and sea gods. Travelers should move gently here, respect the fragile beauty of coves and cliffs, swim only in marked areas, and tread softly on paths lined with wildflowers. Taste the local cuisine, fresh seafood grilled with rosemary, Saquette de Pie simmered slowly in fragrant broth, and the sweet crema catalana that melts on the tongue like sunshine. In spring and early summer, wildflowers carpet hillsides, and the scent of thyme and lavender mingles with salt air. The sunsets here are a quiet ceremony, casting a warm glow that seems to pause time itself. Costa Brava invites you to listen, to the waves, the wind, and the whispers of a coastline that has witnessed centuries of joy, loss, and renewal. In its wild beauty, you might find a place where the sea's timeless song becomes your own. Bilbao pulses with quiet revolution, a city reborn from steel and smoke into a beacon of art and resilience. Nestled on the banks of the Nervion River, Bilbao blends industrial grit with graceful reinvention. The city's soul shifted with the opening of the Guggenheim Museum, a shimmering titanium blossom designed by Frank Gehry that seems to float beside the water, reflecting sky and spirit alike. Walk the streets beyond the museum, and you find a city of contrasts. Narrow medieval alleys where tradition clings to cobblestones, modern bridges arching with sleek purpose, and plazas alive with the chatter of locals. The old town, Casco Viejo, is a labyrinth of taverns serving pinxos, small, exquisite bites that tell stories of Basque flavors, anchovies wrapped in pepper, creamy cheeses, and rich cured meats. Bilbao's history is layered beneath its modern shine. From fishing village to industrial powerhouse, from decline to renaissance. The city carries scars but wears them lightly, embracing change without forgetting roots. Travelers here should savor the slow rhythm of Basque life. Learn a few words in Euskera, the ancient Basque tongue, and you'll find smiles blooming wider. Walk the riverbanks at sunset, when the city glows soft and golden. Bilbao is a testament to transformation, a place where art and industry meet, where past and future entwine. Here, every corner whispers a promise. Renewal is always possible. Cádiz breathes salt and sun, a city cradled by the sea and steeped in stories older than most nations. Perched on a slender peninsula, it is one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in Western Europe. Here, the Atlantic tides wash gently against ancient walls, carrying whispers of Phoenician traders, Roman sailors, and Moorish poets. Narrow streets twist through whitewashed neighborhoods, alive with the laughter of children and the scent of freshly baked bread. The rhythms of flamenco drift from doorways, raw and heartfelt, telling tales of longing and celebration. In the bustling Mercado Central, vibrant stalls overflow with seafood plucked from morning waters, oysters, shrimp, and the famed tortillitas de camarones, crispy shrimp fritters that melt on the tongue. The Cádiz Cathedral crowns the city with its golden dome, visible from every corner. Inside, sunlight filters through stained glass, painting colors onto centuries of faith and artistry. History lingers everywhere, from the watchtowers guarding against pirates to plazas where revolution and celebration have unfolded alike. Travelers should embrace Cádiz's relaxed pace. Walk barefoot along Playa de la Caleta, watch fishermen mend their nets, and savor local wines poured with generous warmth. Learn a few words of Andalusian Spanish. Its soft, musical lilt invites conversation and connection. Visit during Carnival to witness the city transform in a riot of color and song, a jubilant testament to Cádiz's spirit and resilience. Cádiz teaches that to live fully is to be open to the sea's endless horizon, to the stories carried on the wind, and to the moments that shimmer like light on water. Here, by the ocean's edge, life feels expansive and eternal. The Costa del Sol stretches like a sunlit ribbon along Spain's southern coast, a landscape of golden beaches, vibrant towns, and an endless horizon where sea meets sky. Here, the Mediterranean sparkles beneath brilliant light, and the air is infused with the scent of salt, citrus groves, and blooming jasmine. The rhythm of life is relaxed, marked by slow mornings in cafes, afternoons beneath umbrellas, and evenings filled with laughter and flamenco's haunting guitar. Historic towns like Malaga hold layers of stories. Phoenician traders, Roman conquerors, Moorish artisans, and modern artists all left their mark. The Alcazaba fortress climbs a hillside, a silent guardian overlooking streets alive with markets, tapas bars, and art galleries. Further along, Marbella's whitewashed old town spills onto narrow streets lined with bougainvillea, while Nerja's cliffs shelter hidden caves where prehistoric paintings whisper secrets of ancient peoples. Travelers come to Costa del Sol not only for sun and sea, but to savor flavors that tell of land and ocean. Taste fresh sardines grilled over open flames, gazpacho cooled by sea breezes, and local wines bright with citrus notes. The coast's cultural calendar pulses with life. From lively feria celebrations to quiet evenings spent watching sunsets bleed into the sea. Respect the delicate balance here. The dunes and wetlands that shelter migratory birds, the fishing villages preserving centuries-old traditions, and the hospitality that welcomes strangers as friends. Costa del Sol invites you to pause, to breathe deeply the light and warmth, and find beauty in both the vibrant and the serene. In this place where the sun never seems to tire, you might discover your own rhythm, a dance between earth, sea, and sky. Marbella shimmers along the Costa del Sol like a jewel kissed by sunlight and sea breeze. The old town, with its labyrinth of whitewashed alleys and flower-filled patios, breathes the soul of Andalusia, a place where history and modern luxury intertwine effortlessly. Here, bougainvillea spills over terracotta walls, and the soft murmur of fountains mingles with the distant call of church bells. Marbella's golden beaches stretch along the Mediterranean, dotted with fishermen's boats and sunbathers, their days marked by the rhythm of tides and warmth. The promenade invites slow strolls at dusk, where couples linger, watching the horizon bleed pink and gold. The city's history is layered beneath its glamorous veneer. Moorish fortresses and Renaissance churches whisper tales of conquest and culture, while the old market squares hold memories of trades and festivals long past. In the nearby Sierra Blanca Mountains, nature holds its own mysteries: shaded pine forests, hidden springs, and trails that lead to panoramic views where land and sea meet in endless embrace. Travelers should embrace Marbella's dual nature, savoring fresh seafood paella in a family-run venta, then slipping into a lively night where jazz clubs and tapas bars hum until dawn. Learn a few Andalusian phrases. The soft sisio in the local speech is a melody in itself. You'll find warmth and welcome everywhere. Marbella invites you to savor contrasts: the intimate and the extravagant, the quiet courtyard and the bustling plaza, the ancient and the new. Here, beneath the endless Spanish sky, you might find a place where time softens and every moment feels touched by light. Gáldar is the quiet heartbeat of Gran Canaria's north, a place where ancient history and simple life intertwine beneath volcanic skies. This town carries the echoes of the Guanches, the island's original inhabitants, whose spirit lingers in the sacred caves of the Painted Cave, a treasure trove of vibrant murals and rituals long whispered by stone walls. Gáldar streets are lined with modest whitewashed houses, their windows framed by blooming geraniums, while small plazas invite neighbors to gather beneath the shade of palm trees. The scent of roasting coffee drifts from cafes where locals pause to share news, laughter, and stories of the sea. The surrounding landscape unfolds with rugged cliffs and terrace fields, where farmers still tend crops as their ancestors did, drawing life from volcanic soil nourished by Atlantic mists. Local markets burst with flavors: sweet figs, rich cheeses, and fresh fish pulled from nearby waters. Taste the traditional ropa vieja, a hearty stew of shredded meat and chickpeas, simmered slowly in pots that have seen generations. Travelers here are welcomed with genuine warmth, but advised to tread lightly. Respect the town's pace and traditions, listen to the stories woven into its stones, and savor the quiet beauty found in everyday moments. Gáldar teaches that history is not only written in books or carved in monuments, but lived in the pulse of daily life. In the hands that tend fields, the voices that sing in the plaza, and the enduring bond between land and people. Here, amid volcanic hills and Atlantic winds, the past and present meet gently, inviting you to pause and listen. Girona unfolds like a storybook city, its ancient walls and winding streets steeped in whispers of centuries past. The Anya River cuts gently through the town, lined with colorful houses that lean over the water as if to share their secrets. Bridges arch gracefully, connecting cobbled pathways where footsteps echo beneath vaulted gateways and hidden courtyards. Girona's medieval charm is palpable. Narrow alleys lead to the majestic cathedral, its soaring Gothic nave one of the widest in the world, bathed in soft light filtering through stained glass. Each stone tells tales of conquest, faith, and resilience. Walk the Jewish quarter, a labyrinth of shadow and light, where the past is alive in the textured walls and quiet plazas. Here, the history of a community shaped by both brilliance and tragedy lingers softly, inviting reflection and respect. The city blooms with art and culture. Galleries, cafes, and theaters pulse with creativity, while markets overflow with local delicacies: Zwixos, sweet pastries filled with cream, and savory Catalan cheeses that speak of rugged mountain pastures. Travelers are urged to wander slowly, to listen to the murmur of Girona's stories whispered by its stones. Climb the ancient city walls for panoramic views of terracotta rooftops against a backdrop of rolling hills and distant Pyrenees peaks. In spring, the city bursts into color with attempts to Flores Festival, where every corner and courtyard is transformed into a floral tapestry, a celebration of renewal and beauty. Girona teaches that history is not just preserved but lived, a living dialogue between past and present, stone and soul. Here, beneath the Catalan sun, you might discover a city that invites you to slow your pace, open your heart, and become part of its enduring story. Cuenca clings dramatically to cliffs carved by the Júcar and Júcar rivers, a city suspended between earth and sky. Its famous hanging houses, casas colgadas, seem to defy gravity, their wooden balconies jutting boldly over deep ravines. These architectural marvels hold centuries of stories, of medieval artisans, noble families, and artists who found inspiration in the precarious beauty of their home. Walking Cuenca's narrow streets is like moving through a living painting. Weathered stone walls warm beneath the golden sun, cobblestones worn smooth by countless footsteps. The old town is a quiet maze of chapels, plazas, and hidden corners where light and shadow play. Cuenca's history is one of resilience. Once a Moorish fortress, it later became a crossroads of cultures and faiths, each leaving its mark in carved doorways and ancient churches. The city's art scene pulses with life. The Museum of Abstract Art, housed in former hanging houses, showcases works that echo the landscape's bold contrasts. Travelers should take care to savor Cuenca's delicate balance. Walk slowly, respect the fragile beauty of cliffside paths, and taste local specialties like mortadelo, a rich game patty that warms both body and soul. In autumn, the surrounding forests blaze with color, transforming the rugged landscape into a fiery tapestry. Cuenca teaches that beauty often resides in balance between risk and safety, light and shadow, history and modernity. Here, perched between canyon walls, you are invited to embrace life's precarious grace, to lean gently into the vastness around you, and to find strength in the delicate. As our journey through Spain gently comes to a close, the echoes of places, voices, and moments linger like a soft refrain, a tapestry woven from sunlit streets, rugged coasts, and quiet mountain whispers. We have walked beneath soaring cathedrals and along cliffs where sea and sky converge, tasted flavors born of land and ocean, and listened to stories carved deep into stones and hearts alike. Spain is a land of contrasts, ancient and modern, vibrant and serene, fiery and gentle. But beneath these layers lies a simple truth, a passionate embrace of life's fleeting beauty, a reverence for memory and place. You, the traveler now, carry these moments within, the golden light of Valencia's plazas, the wild winds of Fuerteventura, the quiet strength of Cuenca's hanging houses. Each step has been an invitation to see beyond the surface, to feel the pulse beneath, the breath behind the stones, the soul within the stories. As you move forward, may you carry with you the spirit of Spain's landscapes and people, a blend of resilience and grace, celebration and stillness, earth and sky. And may every journey you take be touched by the same quiet magic, the feeling that travel is not just a movement through space, but a journey inward. Thank you for walking this path with me. Until the next horizon calls, may your heart remain open, your footsteps light, and your spirit ever curious. You are the traveler now,